Welcome to the deep dive.
Mm.
Today we're getting right into it, understanding our emotional behaviors.
Yeah, those things we sort of automatically do when the strong feelings top up.
Exactly. We're using materials you shared, and the plan is, really, to see how these behaviors affect us and maybe find ways to make some positive changes
Giving you a bit more control, hopefully, over your emotional world.
without getting bogged down, yeah.
And it's interesting, how these reactions, sometimes they help, but other times they can really dig us into deeper holes.
Right. It's not like emotions themselves are the problem. I mean, think about it. Sadness, maybe it helps you step back,
Yeah.
process things.
Or anger might push you to protect yourself.
And anxiety gets you ready. Guilt makes you want to fix things.
Happiness reinforces what's good. They all have a function, these links between feeling and action. They're often really adaptive.
Okay. So the real focus for us today then is on those times when we do something that gives us like immediate relief from a strong feeling, but it ends up causing bigger issues down the road, like, I don't know, snapping at someone when you're stressed.
Oh, absolutely. Feels better for a second, maybe. Lets off steam.
But the relationship takes a hit. So why do we do that? Why fall into that trap?
Well, that immediate relief is it's really powerful for our brains. It promises comfort right now,
Even if it causes problems later, that short-term reward is just too tempting.
It really is. It's a strong motivator.
So what kinds of unhelpful behaviors should we be looking out for? What forms do these take?
They can break them down a bit. First, there are what we might call emotion-driven behaviors.
Okay.
These are actions you take specifically to just dial down the intensity of the feeling right then. Like leaving a party if you feel anxious.
Or maybe lashing out if you're angry, just to get it out.
Exactly. Or even, say, apologizing over and over when you feel guilty.
Gotcha. Makes sense. What's next?
Then there's overt avoidance. This is pretty straightforward, just completely staying away from things.
Like people, places, situations.
Yeah, anything might trigger a strong, uncomfortable emotion. Not going to parties at all because of social anxiety, for instance.
Or avoiding public transport if you've had panic attacks there.
Yeah.
A total detour.
Right. But like you said, we can't always just avoid everything.
No.
So that brings us to subtle behavioral avoidance. These are less obvious ways we try to kind of cushion the blow of an emotion.
How so? Like what?
Well, maybe you do go to the party, but you spend the whole time glued to your phone.
Okay. Avoiding actual interaction.
Or relying on caffeine, maybe, to sort of power through physical anxiety feelings. Or even perfectionism, trying to control everything to avoid feeling uncertain.
That's subtle. It's like building a little safety bubble around yourself within the situation.
Precisely. And related to that, there's cognitive avoidance. This is about keeping your mind busy.
To avoid thinking about upsetting stuff.
You got it. Like, endlessly scrolling the internet. Or worrying. Sometimes worry feels productive, like you're dealing with it.
But you're just spinning your wheels.
Often, yeah. And trying hard not to think about something. That famous don't think about a pink elephant issue.
Right. It just makes you think about it more.
It backfires.
Yeah.
One more category, safety signals.
Okay. What are those?
Objects or people you feel you need to have around to feel okay in challenging situations.
Like a lucky charm?
Could be. Or carrying way too much stuff just in case. Or maybe always needing a specific friend with you if you go somewhere new.
And the problem there is?
The problem is you never learn you can actually handle it on your own. You attribute your safety or success to the charm or the friend, not your own coping skills.
Okay, so we've got all these strategies, emotion-driven reactions, avoiding things outright, subtle avoidance, keeping our minds busy, relying on safety signals. What's the big deal? Why is this pattern so bad?
It all feeds into this cycle of avoidance. Every time you avoid feeling something uncomfortable.
You're basically telling yourself.
You're telling yourself, this feeling is dangerous and I can't handle this. It reinforces those beliefs.
So the next time the feeling comes up.
The urge to avoid is even stronger. You get better and better at avoiding, but you feel less and less capable. It traps you.
That makes sense. It's a downward spiral. So how do we get out? How do we break this cycle?
Well, the good news is, we definitely can. It starts with awareness, just noticing your own go-to unhelpful behaviors.
Spotting the pattern.
Exactly. And then consciously choosing an alternative action.
Doing something different.
Something different, yeah. Maybe even the opposite of what the emotion is pushing you to do. Like if sadness makes you want to withdraw.
You could maybe call a friend instead.
Perfect. Or if anxiety makes you want to run from a situation, you take one tiny step towards it. gradually.
So it doesn't have to be some huge dramatic change right away.
Absolutely not. Small shifts are key. Think about it if you tend to slump when you feel shame. Just consciously choosing to sit up straight.
That physical change could actually change how you feel.
Over time, yes. It changes that whole feedback loop between your body, your thoughts, and your feelings. Little changes add up.
So, for you listening, what's the main thing to take away and maybe try out?
Become a detective about your own emotional habits this week. When strong feelings come up, notice, what do I do?
And ask yourself,
What's the immediate payoff? What relief do I get right now? But also, what are the longer-term costs?
right, and then maybe start thinking about alternatives.
Just brainstorm. What else could you do? It's all about learning more about your own ability to navigate these feelings, building that confidence.
Okay, so here's something to really chew on.
Mm-hmm.
What if the very things you're doing to feel safer or less anxious are the exact things keeping you stuck?
Mm-hmm.
What one small behavioral shift could you experiment with this week, just to see what happens, to challenge that old pattern?
That's the exploration.
That's our deep dive for today. Thanks for tuning in.